Miss Karina's a big dreamer, a metaphysician on a mission of inspiration and transformation, which led her to this manifestation. Miss Aruba Island Queen, Meta Lifestyle Magazine.
Nadie comprende lo que sufro yo tanto que ya no puedo sollozar, solo temblando de ansiedad estoy. Todos me miran y se van. Mujer, si puedes tú con Dios hablar, pregúntale si alguna vez te he dejado de adorar. Al mar, espejo de mi corazón, las veces que me ha visto llorar la perfidia de tu amor. Te he buscado donde quiere que yo voy y no te puedo hallar. ¿Para qué quiero tus besos si tus labios no me quieren ya besar? Y tú, ¿quién sabes por dónde andarás? ¿Quién sabes qué aventura tendrás? Qué lejos estás de mí. Buscado donde quiere que yo voy y no te puedo hallar. ¿Para qué quiero tus besos si tus labios no me quieren ya besar? Y tú, ¿quién sabe por dónde andarás? ¿Quién sabe qué aventura tendrás? Qué lejos estás de mí, de mí.
Welcome to the Meta Lifestyle Magazine show. I'm your host, Karina Felix. Join me each week on this exciting new magazine TV platform as I bring in guests that will discuss everything from spiritual growth, personal awareness, and business success. Join us as we share our journeys and inspire you to live a meaningful life, serve a higher purpose, and make a global impact.
Hello, and welcome to the Meta Lifestyle Magazine, your source for enhancing, impacting, and transforming lifestyles. Hi, I'm your host, Karina Felix, and today it's another gorgeous, beautiful Tuesday in Florida. in Boca, actually, so that's where we're at. And please me pass it on so that Nandini can introduce herself really fast. Anyway, we're having a slow day today, so that's okay.
Hello everyone, thank you for joining us today, and what a fabulous start to our show on this Tuesday with the host Karina entertaining us. As we've said, Meta Lifestyle is all about promoting and empowering you. And what better way to demonstrate that by showing you how Karina is able
Fun, we get to have in this show.
to have
so,
fun.
Nandini, you're aware this is our 5th show.
Yes.
This is our 2nd month. And I gotta say, it's been kind of a whirlwind for me, especially because I launched the Meta Lifestyle magazine in January, was the first issue. And then by February, it's like this opportunity presented itself. And I'm like, oh my goodness. And again, thank you, Lynn, because Lynn, who is one of the writers for the magazine, invited me to this particular studio. It was the end of January, I think, to talk about his article. And I walked into this place and I just thought, fabulous, loving it, gotta have my own show. So here we are. And one of the reasons, I wanted to do this magazine and add on the TV radio component to it is because we are all looking for a platform to showcase our products, our services, our message, because we all have a message. And what I realized was with the articles that's coming through and what people are saying is it's so raw, it's so deep. People are being so brave to say what they want to say. And I feel like we get to have this safe space for people to come here and let us know what they're doing, because we all need each other. We all need each other's messages and offers. But if no one knows that you're there or that you're offering it, how do they know to come to you? So if you're like a small business owner, coach, healer, author, whatever that is, you need that visibility. You need the publicity. You need the promotion. You need to be in front of people. And we have created that platform for you with the magazine. And if you haven't seen the issues, you could go to metalifestylemagazine.com/issue. And all of the initial 3 issues, because March is already out. And we're already working on April. So please, if you want to be in the April issue, reach out either to Nandini or myself. And please let us, we'd love to work with you. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to hear your message. And especially now that we're in Women's History Month.
Yes, but let's just talk about why you've called this Meta Lifestyle.
Meta is an interesting word because the original root of the meta is a old Latin Greek word, and it means beyond, going beyond what we see, hear, feel, touch. We know there's a 6th dimension out there. We know it, we feel it, and we're having more of a conversation about it. We are being more open to share that other side, the spiritual side, the 5th dimension, for those that understand what this is all about. And meta also later on became the study of. So metaverse, the study of the universe, metadata, the study of data. So with that, I thought, well, Meta Lifestyle, because we have to step away from the short gain in life. We have to step away from the crash diets and all of that instant gratification, because everything you do, it's a mindset change, but it needs to be consistent. It needs to become part of your everyday life.
It's a move towards a more holistic
It's become more holistic.
style of living, a more holistic approach to our well-being and the well-being of the world. So as we hope you've noticed, the guests that we've had on the show to date are entrepreneurs practicing some form of, holistic business, something that makes a very positive impact in the world. It's about empowering others as opposed to simply in the business to make money.
Right.
We have people who are part of the much needed shift in the current paradigm, and that is what this show is all about. This show is to bring information to you, sharing the information of entrepreneurs who are practicing in those fields.
Yeah, and in metaphysics, and I think many people don't understand what the word metaphysics is. It's not a religion. And metaphysics it encompasses so much. So it has a little bit of philosophy, psychology. It brings in the quantum physics, understanding how energy shifts and moves. It brings in the universal laws, the law of attraction, the law of flow, and all of that. And and of course it brings in all the religion. And it's really the best of everything. And metaphysics really is the original core of all the other sciences and all the other physics, because it all starts with why.
Well,
Who are we? What are we doing here? What's the purpose?
Exactly that. Who are we? What are we? And the answer to that is energy. We are energy, and the universe is energy. And a metaphysical approach to life, a meta lifestyle, is about being in harmony with the energy of the universe.
Correct. And we're all souls having a
We're spiritual beings
we're
having a
spiritual
human
beings
experience
having a human experience
rather than the other way
and,
around.
And it's very important for us to connect with our soul's mission, because once you make that connection, everything falls in place, and you don't feel that lost. And we feel lost because we're feeling pulled. You're feeling that we do stuff because of society, our parents and our churches and whatever. Society has controlled us so much, but sometimes that's not where our heart is. And once we fight with ourselves and we can't find that peace, that calm, that sense of calm, and it's because you're not connected with what you should be doing on this journey. And we all have to get to that point of finding out why. Who am I and why am I here, and what's my purpose, what's my message on this journey.
And to have fun while we're doing it.
Always fun. See, singing and dancing.
Yes.
So yeah, I had to open up the show with a song. And for those that actually know me, I've been a dancer my whole life. I've been a performer, been on stage, love singing, love dancing. And it's two ways of elevating your energy. I mean, that takes you to the next level.
Well, you are elevating your energy, but very importantly, you are making use of your gifts, your innate gifts. So you're showing us how to do it.
You can't have fun in your own show. You can have fun. So, yes, we're going to go for a very short commercial, and we'll be right back with our guests. And we have two fabulous guests with us today that I'm so excited to introduce you to them, but we will be right back in a few minutes. Hi, and we're back, and today's our guest is Anja Weinberg. And Anja, thank you so much for coming today. We're so excited to have you here, and please go ahead, introduce yourself, tell us everything.
Thank you so much for having me on, Karina. I guess we need the microphone.
Yes.
Thank you so much for having me on, Karina and
Nandini.
And who I am is I am a wellness home consultant. I've worked in the holistic health field for over 29 years. We own a wellness center over in the East Fort Lauderdale area. And my expertise is I love working with individuals and families and wellness practitioners to really create our homes the safe haven we all deserve to have, to really look at the aspects, what makes our home the place where we should thrive. Thank you so much.
So when you say home, and what do you mean by thriving at home? Like, what kind of offering is that?
Well, many of us are bombarded these days with concerns around the air we breathe, the water we drink, the sleep. So I'm really looking to bring nature-inspired solutions and technologies and strategies back into our homes, so we can eliminate some people call it the body burden. For example, the Environmental Protection Agency talks now about all of us as human beings have in our body currently 700 contaminants that really bog down on our health and well-being. So how do we shift that to more strategic alignment in what does make our home healthier, more health conducive, and overall a better health-inspired environment by the products that we use, the things that should be eliminated out of an everyday environment? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I know, because we're very right now. There's a lot of promotion for covering. I want to say covering up scent. So we have the free breeze, and we have candles. We have, but all of them have their own contaminants and allergens in these, right?
Yes.
And they affect us one way or the other. And just for an example, I one time had problems with my AC, and wasn't working. It was overheating. And when they came, they said, and they showed me the filter, and they said, "Do you light candles in your house?" And I said, "I did." And they said, "Watch the wax that was going into the system," and it was just sitting there. And so I don't do candles anymore unless it's a very organic, natural type of candles, because a lot of them, it's really not good for us, and we sometimes just have it all day in the house.
Yeah, and especially as adults, it affects us. But think about if you have a family with children, or you have pets. They're much smaller. Their body burden becomes much heavier, affecting their health much quicker, because the organ function and things. And when I work with clients, especially when somebody already has existing breathing challenges or allergies, I'm very concerned, or we look at the concerns of how does the family or the individual make use of their space, because a lot of these products we think, or we led to believe that they make things healthier in the home, because now everything is toxin free or germ free, but the added contaminant that becomes a body burden to us, for example, bleach, it's a carcinogen. We shouldn't be breathing that in. When we clean surfaces, we're there. So there is much more natural-oriented solutions that don't affect our body and the health concerns we might have. And a lot of people still to these days use dryer sheets. That's actually one of the highest contributors to the indoor air pollution in our homes, because it stays in all the rooms, even if you keep it or use it in the laundry room. So I think there is a perception for individuals and families often to using products that we believe are healthy and add to our health, but they quite frankly are not. So really looking at these solutions and maybe substituting some things or replacing them altogether. So it's sometimes about the strategy that we use and being more deliberate with the things that affect our health and well-being. Does that make sense?
So Anja, do you actually have to go to people's house and see what's happening in there, or how do you coach someone?
Yeah. You know what, that's a great question, Karina. Oftentimes people prefer to can we just get started with a questionnaire, and I will do that. We'll look at what are you using now? How much water does your family drink? And I also bring in not only the aesthetics and how things work in the home, but also how is the connection. And really my company Thrive From Home really starts with the thriving from home here first. How do we feel connected with ourselves? And then we'll talk about the family. And sometimes it is, cooking meals together and creating connection, then going out into the environment. How much water intake is there in the family? What kind of foods are being eaten and shared? Are meals cooked together? And we'll really look at the aspects, what can be changed right now with what is already in place. And then also we're looking at how much change does the individual or the family want to make?
Right.
You know,
Exactly.
we all know how
Yeah.
it should be and what serves us best, but it's really much more a matter of how do we implement it in a succinct, strategic, and just get it done kind of a way. For example, I work a lot around water and concerns with water because people buy bottled water. The concern becomes the plastic, it's not recyclable, or will plastic be recyclable? So we're looking at those things, and maybe there is easier solutions that would serve a family much better.
Right.
So Anja, what prompts somebody to contact you? Do you find like the majority of your clients would have a major issue, say like a child has an allergy or somebody constantly has a cough, or who is it that would reach out to you for your services?
Great questions. I do love working with fellow wellness practitioners because they often have clients that have those concerns, where sometimes I can be a great asset to making some changes that can be implemented. How people find me is, like I said, I work with individuals and families, and just from doing talks in the community, I'm very involved with local community and schools, and doing presentations, doing little simple workshops, and sometimes it's just doing workshops where families kind of can learn on their own as well. But yes, I help with all those concerns, and I do work with fellow wellness practitioners as an assistant wellness home consultant as well.
Can you give us an idea of, like when you walk into a home, what is the very first thing that you would do?
Well, I work very intuitively. My backgrounds are actually in culinary arts and also in hospitality management and in interior design. So when I come in the home first, it's really about the feel. The feel for the space, the feel for the people, the pets, the families that live in a space, and then we'll go from there. My favorite is to start in the kitchen and really look what can be implemented there. What is being used for water now? How is the consumption or the preparation of food? How is the air all together? Have you ever walked into a home and immediately you hit kind of like by a scent of, especially here in Florida, that is kind of a damp, moldy kind of experience? That's definitely something that is not health conducive. So we're looking into maybe things can be eliminated. There might be moisture in the air due to not ventilating bathrooms or ventilating the laundry area, things like that.
Oh, excellent.
And how do you find people react to you telling them about the food that they are eating? Because I know that is such, something that is so very difficult to get people to change, no matter what they're going through. What is your success rate like with getting people to make the changes that you recommend?
That is such a perfect question, because with food it's all, and if you have noticed if you're following food trends, today they tell you do not eat any eggs, your cholesterols are gonna go up and eggs are the problem. Well, I grew up in the northern part of Germany in the countryside, and I grew up on a homestead. So you ate everything that you grew and what the animals provided. And there was no throwing out one part of the egg or the other part. And those of you that can relate, so I'm really looking at what is in place for the family or for the individual now. And we'll start from there, because if you tell somebody what they should be doing, all of us hear enough of that already. So I'll meet people where they're at.
Right.
What do you really enjoy eating? And we start from there. How can that be made more health conducive? You know, maybe there is a healthier version of that. And also what can be supplemented in to provide greater health and well-being, more vitality. For me, it's really about whole type of food. You know, I think too many people are concerned with calorie counting rather than chemical counting. So for me, I really look at not everything that's lighter, so to say, is really healthier. I really look for chemical content more than anything else, to be honest. I am not one that does portion control or things like that. I want to get more into having people take good ingredients and make a good simple meal rather than going for making sauce hollandaise and all these amazing things that I got so used to in the culinary field. But when you meet people at a simple step that they can implement right away and see success, it makes them feel proud of themselves and it empowers people around them. So if there's children in the house, for example, I love cooking in the kitchen with children. I think it's an awesome way of empowering that people can do something for themselves. In essence, it's a way of empowering self-responsibility, if that makes sense. And so I will get little children up on a stool on the kitchen counter chopping mushrooms. It's something very easy to do that even a child of 3 or 4 years old can do very, very quickly, very instantly, and they feel they are contributing to the meal for the family.
Right.
You know, so it's really meeting people where they're at, because if we're shooting more people and throwing things at people of what they should be doing, very likely it's not gonna
work.
it's not making the it's not gonna make the lasting change.
Yes. You mentioned being very intuitive in your work.
Yes.
Do you speak to people about the energy within the house? Do you sense that? Is it something that you cover with them?
Yeah, in my days in interior design, we incorporated a lot of feng shui, which is really, you know, there is a lot of thought around it, a lot of schooling around it. For me, it really comes back down to the flow and the feel. How does the space function? You know, again, there is a lot of shoulding and we should be doing this and it shouldn't be like that. However, really looking at the individual, how does this work best for you? How do you feel most connected to yourself and then to the space? So functionality is very important, and for me, really looking at how much clutter can be eliminated, because clutter really seems to be draining people, it drains the space. I am very much a fan of bringing nature-inspired solutions and strategies in the home. So if it's possible, I will help to, you know, use plants to enhance the air of the house, the flow of the house. And that sometimes depends on if there's pets that, you know, you don't want pets chewing on things that wouldn't be healthy to them. But then also improving the air and the flow through assisted things like air enhancing systems, you know, changing out the air filtration system, filters in your AC on continual basis, because that will not only enhance the smell, but also the feeling of lightness in the room. And I love those type of filters that can enhance the feeling of bringing nature back into the house. And what I mean by that, there is filtration systems that provide a better feeling for the air, making the air lighter, and using natural type of solutions that do HEPA filtration. Most of us have heard of some type of HEPA filtration, and that can add to the space and also to the feeling of the space.
So we're going to pivot just a little bit here, Anja, because you know, I've obviously known Anja for a while now. Anja is also the president of the Holistic Chamber of Commerce of Fort Lauderdale. For 1 year, I was the president of the Holistic Chamber of Commerce for West Palm Beach, and I think that's how we kind of connected at some point. But what I want to touch on is the fact that it is Women's History Month. And I know you brought up, we had a conversation about being just a mom and how, you know, it almost makes us feel like, you know, what do you mean just a mom? And I'm going to come back to you for just a second, but I'm going to switch over to Lynn here, because Lynn is a writer in the magazine, and one of his first articles was about connecting with the divine feminine and the divine masculine. And how does that play out for you as a guy connected with both your divine feminine and masculine, and being in what we're calling celebrating Women's History Month?
So I'd actually like to piggyback on to what Anja was saying about creating a safe home. And one of the most important elements of a safe home is a safe emotional environment. And one of the ways in which we do that, especially if we're in a situation where we, you know, have male and female, men and women occupying that space, is to be able to reach a state of balance within each of ourselves. Each of us contain masculine and feminine energy, and typically, not always, but typically men have more of the masculine energy and women have more of the feminine energy. But as we look at the Women's History Month, one of the things we have to look at, that we can't ignore, is the vast numbers of women who have experienced abuse in their homes. And so if we're going to make a home safe, one of the things we need to be able to do is make it safe emotionally. And one of the best ways to do that is for all of us to recognize the masculine and feminine elements within ourselves, and then begin this process of balancing and harmonizing them together, so that we don't go over, we don't go too far one way or too far the other way. Because if we do that, especially as men, a lot of men have really struggled with this idea that they have feminine aspects within themselves. And if men don't understand that, if men don't accept that piece of themselves, they're not going to be able to be balanced. And then they're going to bring that into the home and create an environment in which there is no emotional balance and no harmony. And yes, the home can be safer in a lot of different ways, but without the emotional balance, without the emotional safety, it's still going to be more of a house than a home.
True.
That's such an excellent point, Lynn. Yes.
You know, we are, it's interesting because Nandini we were just having a conversation earlier about, because you said you were asking yourself a question, why are we here now at this point in this lifetime? There's a huge paradigm shift happening.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look around, you could see that finally women are being empowered. There's more business, small business owners that are women. The women are coming out and they're the one speaking. They're now the managers. They're now the bosses. And they're finally coming out of the comfort zone and finally speaking. You know, like I said, opening up their throat chakra and saying what they have to say.
Yeah,
and we're not hiding
voice.
no more. We're not hiding behind whatever facade we grew up with. You know, girls have to be quiet and pretty and just sit nice, and kids should be seen and not heard, and it's okay. And we're stepping out of that paradigm, and because you brought that up just
and you know, a huge part of this paradigm shift in where women are becoming more empowered is exactly what Lynn was just talking about. It's actually men recognizing that perhaps they are very patriarchal in their attitude. I'm softening it a bit with perhaps, even if I don't believe in the perhaps. We have had a very patriarchal society for a very long time now, and anything that is out of kilter, that is out of balance, needs to be corrected, and this is the correction that we're seeing now. However, we cannot have it tilted back towards, you know, saying like a completely feminine
Right.
energy. The masculine and the feminine have to be in balance, and that is what Lynn was speaking to just a couple minutes ago. And that is very important. So you could find that men become very threatened when they hear people talking about feminine energy and empowering women. They feel as if they're going to lose their own place in society. But that's not what it is about, because then the feminine would just be repeating exactly what the masculine has done over millennia. So what we're working towards now is a balance. That is the key point.
Being very specific so that we're not being misunderstood with this message, we're not talking physical feminism.
Yes.
We're talking spiritual feminism.
Yes.
We're talking that energetic balance. So just so that, you know, we're being clear what we mean by the divine feminine and the divine masculine. It's a spiritual, it's a soul deep connection with both of our, you know, our energy centers, you know, the yin and the yang.
Yeah,
You
so
know, the
when
connection.
none of us are either 100% masculine
Correct.
or 100% feminine. What we do is that we would elevate one of those energies, you know, more than the other. And sometimes that is needed depending on the situation that we find
Sure.
ourselves in. But the majority of our lives have to be spent balancing the divine and the divine masculine energy and the divine feminine
So
energy.
do you think people are confused because, again, you talk about the patriotic will, what the word is?
Patriarchal.
Right, which is you're a boy, you're supposed to behave this way, and you're supposed to, you know, not cry and not show emotion and not show any of this, what they call feminine side. And then at the same time, they're telling the girls, don't be tough and don't be, you know, outspoken. So that's also where that shifts that energy, because we're not sure what is what anymore. We don't know where we fit in.
Well, and you know, like what you were just saying about how boys have been conditioned to be a certain way and women have been, you know, girls have been conditioned to be a certain way. You know, think of how that plays out in that, you know, if there is a job advert and a guy looks at it, he might be able to tick off 2 or 3 of, you know, like their stated requirements, and he'll go to himself, I can do that.
Right.
I can apply for that job.
Yeah.
A woman, on the other hand, will want to have to tick every single one of those boxes to feel empowered and capable, sufficiently capable to be able to do that job. And that is societal conditioning. That is where a patriarchal society has empowered boys more than it has girls.
So one of the things I'd like to interject, if I may, is that I think when we talk about a patriarchal society, you know, we can't say that all men were behind the structure that was created, right? It was really a handful of men who created this structure and then roped the boys in first.
Yes.
And then brought the women in later. And so it's not that we're picking at men and saying men are all wrong and we don't need you anymore. That's what feminism is.
Yes.
Femininity, or the divine feminine, says no, we complement each other.
Right.
We need each other to be able to carry out this mission that we have, and we're going to support each other. For men, it doesn't mean that we have to completely change who we are. We don't have to become women. We're not being asked to do that. We're being asked to look at ourselves and see, why is it? What insecurities lie in us related to our refusal to accept our divine feminine, our own feminine aspects, that cause us to want to control and manipulate women who are the representative of what the battle we're fighting inside ourselves. And so it's when men are able to start recognizing that, wait a minute, if I can balance within myself, then I've made a significant contribution to what's happening. And now I can be supportive. And but we're all doing this together. It's not like, okay, men, we don't need you anymore. You're done now. Let's get all of you off the planet because we don't need
we
you anymore.
definitely don't want that. Hello.
But
We
it's
definitely don't want to get rid of the guys. Hello.
right. But I think sometimes, the messages aren't always clear about that.
Correct.
That's
And
very
so,
true.
And because we all, one of the myths about men is that we don't feel things. No, we feel everything.
But you're not
But the-
allowed.
to
But the
express it
only
or show
emotion
it.
we've ever been allowed to exercise is anger,
Yes.
True.
right? Because
being tough.
that's what made us feel accepted by other men.
Mm.
And we're just starting to learn now that, wait a minute, we already feel these things. Why not share them? Why not show them? And so as more men get more comfortable with this, then it'll become safer for women
Yes.
to be able to go and do the things that only women can do. I was just having a conversation with Anja before we started. My belief is that this new world that we're creating, and we're getting rid of one and creating a new one, and what is it going to require? This new world is being birthed. So if we're birthing something, we need the divine feminine to do that. To not only birth it, but to nurture it and nourish it, so that it becomes what we all want it to be.
Yep.
But we've all got a role to play in that. And so that's why I really just wanted to mention the idea that emotional safety is really important. And when women step out initially to do what the divine feminine is here to do, it's going to be uncomfortable for a while. Because there's going to be opposition. There's going to be people who still aren't comfortable with that idea. Many of them will be men. Some of them will be women, based upon their religious beliefs or other things that they're
It's
that they're
societal
subscribed to.
conditioning.
What's your
Yes.
opinion, Anja? Don't forget to.
Well, right now, this is obviously a very loaded topic. Let's not kid ourselves. But I grew up in a very masculine culture,
Yes.
by all sense, I would say the Germanic culture is a very masculine culture. And to come back with that was a lot of masculine leadership skills that I have within myself. I love winning. I love going for the competitive. That's definitely, I am a get her done kind of a person. And you mentioned before about when I got my business started, Thrive from Home. It really started with, I didn't want to just be a stay-at-home mom. And there's nothing wrong with that, but I just knew a friend of mine introduced herself, well, I am just a stay-at-home mom. And I'm like, wow, that it just like hit me so right here. Like, I don't want to be a just anything anymore. I'm going to be a Thrive from Home mom. I'm going to do this thing. And I grew up in a culture where it was on a homestead, and dad went to work and mom took care of the kids and the house and the homestead and the animals. And there was a lot of that to do. And to be honest, looking back now, I see what an amazing way that was to grow up, because it was of right order. The women were empowered to be their greatest and best. And I love being in my kitchen and nurturing my family with the right water and the food and the nurturing. I love that as a person. But do not tell me my place is behind the stove. And so, I have become an entrepreneur, a business leader, a community leader. I'm a catalyst for connection in the community. And that comes with, like Lynn said earlier, it really comes feeling safe. And I don't even think it starts at the home. I think it starts with the individual first, to really honoring ourselves, like, I am a woman. I have amazing talents and gifts and intuitive and the nurturing, but I also have masculine in me. The masculine attributes of, I see a vision and I want to get it done. Being a visionary and being a steward is really a masculine trait. but women do really well with that. And the same for men. You know, you stated earlier that both men and women have both traits, and one is more predominant than the other. So, yes, it is a very loaded topic, and I can go on a whole lot longer and translate the whole thing in German. But I do believe, I've been married a long time. I'm in an amazing right order relationship. But the safety, like Lynn said before, it starts here first. Knowing thy own self, truly here first. And we talked a little bit about doing the dark work within ourselves, the shadow work. That needs to start here, because I can shoot out there in the community of how the community should look or how our leaders should show up. But if I don't do my work on that aspect, then all is lost. Because if all of us take more self-responsibility, then we can truly build something amazing and move that forward.
No, I think that's a wonderful summary of holistic living, of a meta lifestyle.
Yes, of a meta lifestyle. That's what meta lifestyle is all about. So we're kind of coming to the end. It's so amazing how fast an hour goes, especially when it's such a good topic. And you know, and it's you're right, we can go on forever talking about this, but I was so glad. Anja, thank you so much for coming in today, and this was a great topic. And you know, we're getting, and part of that whole paradigm shift, you're right, it's inside, it's outside, it's relationship. We're being so much more aware of what we say, what we do, how we act, how we interact with people, and how we contribute to the world in general, or society, or community, whatever that is. So again, this is what Meta Lifestyle magazine is all about. If you haven't read the articles in this magazine, my writers are amazing, and they're all experts in their field of line. And so I hope you get one. You just go to metalifestylemagazine.com/issues, and you see the last 3 issues, because we're now into our 3rd issue. January, February, March is already out digitally online. And if you haven't seen the other episodes of this show, it's also on the same web page, and just do /TV, and I've uploaded all the episodes there so far. And each episode has great information. And last week we had the young entrepreneurs. We had that millennium group, Gen, I don't know Gen what they are, but anyway between 20 and 27,
28.
and just the stuff that they're in a whole different space than we were at that age, and it was just great to hear them.
Well, they are the paradigm shift. You know, we are producing the means.
Yes.
And we're making it ready. We're making the world ready for them. You know, they're coming in and they're ready to do this.
And they're understanding boundaries much better than we did. And they have no issue telling you, back off. This is my space. Don't
Talk
come
to
too
the
close.
hand.
Yeah, talk in our days. But yeah, so they're being a lot more out there, and it's just it's exciting. I mean, I have a 23 and a 25-year-old, and believe me, there are moments I'm thinking, I would have never done that in my house, and it's like, but it's a different lifetime, and it's okay. And I'm happy to be this mom in this time with kids in this age, and you know, they're all entrepreneurial, and they're just going on their own path.
Yeah.
So what do you think? Oh, so just so you know, we are always looking for people to come on the show with us and to be featured in the magazine. So please go to the website, metalifestylemagazine.com, and we have a section where you can, you know, we're looking for new guests for our upcoming issues. Just go online and reserve your spot and come and join us in these amazing conversations that we're having here. And the fun part is every time we come in here, new people connect with new people and create new friendships, new joint ventures, new, you know, business connection, whatever that is. And I'm sure we all have a message to share.
So make sure you come on in and touch base with us. We'd love to see you and love to hear from you.
Yes, if you think that you are part of the paradigm shift that is so needed right now in the world, you have a unique message, a unique service that you would like to share with our audience, we're here to promote you, your service, your product, your message.
And this is literally a multimedia opportunity. We have the magazine, we have the TV, and we have the radio. And the radio is going to be broadcasted at 7 p.m. tonight. And it's about, I think it's six, seven channels all over. And it gets an amazing view.
Listenership.
Yes, listening-ship. We have the viewership, we have the listening-ship, and of course we have the readership. So touch base with us. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to hear your message. Anja, again, thank you so much for coming on today. And Lynn, it's always a pleasure having you. And it's so great to have our divine masculine, feminine, balanced man right here with us. And are we, I don't know, I was going to sing a song on, are we still allowed to sing a song before I close, or do we not have any time? They're not here listening to me.
No, they're
That's
not
okay.
here.
So yes, so this is what I wanted to say, and we were discussing this during lunch today, and many people, we spend so much time in coaching sessions and working on our marketing, what's my target market, and who do I want to reach, and how I'm going to do it, and what's my product and service, what am I offering. And that's great. This is the beginning of your business. But when you're ready to take it to that next level, you need eyes on your product, on your service. And this is why Anja got a chance to show what she's all about. So now you actually know what she's talking, what she's understanding. And please just go to our website again under giveaways, and we will have free giveaways from all our guests that's been on the show so far. And go and claim your free gifts. And actually today we have 2 tickets for movies. It says Movies of Del Rey and Movies of Lake Worth. And you could call in and pick it up. You could call in at 888-994-4995, or just take a drive in here to Boca and walk in and pick up your ticket for your 2 free movies. So hope to see you guys soon again. And this is the Lifestyle Magazine show, source for enhancing, impacting, and transforming lifestyles. And we look forward to seeing you next week.
Miss Karina's a big dreamer, a metaphysician on a mission of inspiration and transformation, which led her to this manifestation. Miss Aruba Island Queen, Meta Lifestyle Magazine.